What's going on, people? My name is Eric Piccioni, making this video and this channel really to document my process to financial freedom, but also show it to myself and my family in the future when we do reach the point of financial freedom, to show my mental state during every step of the way. And also the other part is to educate others and give people an understanding or maybe a different perspective of their own journey. I'm not claiming to be a know-it-all. I'm very aware of the fact that I don't know a lot of things, but this video is the slap in the face advice and realization that I've come to now, being 5 years into the workforce and graduating college and everything. So for context, I was graduated college, like I said, about 5 years ago, and I had no clue what I wanted to do when I was getting out. I was just living a life, having fun and doing what I could every day to just enjoy it, and never really had any plans of what I wanted to do afterwards, which is completely okay. Once I got into the workforce, I was in sales. I've been in sales ever since graduating. I wouldn't necessarily do anything differently. I wouldn't change the companies that I've worked for. I wouldn't change the jobs that I've worked, because sales to me is the best, or one of the best ways to make a lot of money. And I don't necessarily love it, but what I have come to realize is the traditional way of living is outdated at this point. Like, it's not possible to live a high quality life forming your lifestyle around the traditional values of get a good education, get a good job, get married, have kids, and then retire at 65 and just rinse and repeat, work that job for 40 years, and then maybe one day you'll have your 401k saved up. That doesn't work anymore, and you guys can roast me in the comments, that's fine, but it's just not going to, at least the way that trajectory is. Like, I earn a good salary and I earn a good commission. I'll say I don't really get a salary, I get commissions only. My commission, or my compensation rather, is great, but just based on the way that our life is set up, it would take a long time to live a good life, and that is not something that I want for my family, my future, and my long-term health. So instead, what is going to be really important and really helpful is changing the rules a little bit. So this all started a couple years ago. I read The 4-Hour Work Week. It was a book that was gifted to me during Christmas. That plus Rich Dad Poor Dad was a book that I recommend to anyone. Those two books established a foundation of my psychology. 4-Hour Work Week, though, a lot of people think of it as the build a business and put systems in place to remove yourself from the day-to-day. At least that's what most people think of it as. My takeaway was more about enjoying mini retirements, and you can go and live a high quality life in another country for pennies on the dollar of what it would cost to live in America. And that didn't become a reality until recently, where I went on a trip to Ecuador about a year ago. For 2 weeks, we went and did everything that you could possibly do. We went out every single day, maybe twice a day. We lived downtown and in Cuenca, like as close as it could be to everything that was going on. And it was not even possible to spend $2,000 during those 2 weeks, flights and everything included. The flights were the most expensive part for sure, but that to me got me thinking even more. It's like, if in America at least you can live this traditional lifestyle, you get a good job, you just rinse and repeat, grind for 40 years, and then maybe one day you'll have this lifestyle where you can be a little bit more flexible in your spending, and hopefully your house is paid off in 30 years and all this stuff. And that's great, cool, awesome. That to me doesn't sound very fun if you're gonna then live your life at 50, 60, 70 years old. That's to me that's a hard way to live, and it's scary to think that that's how the normal person thinks. And it's not like I'm here to say that you're wrong for thinking that way. I don't care. Like, do what you want. But for my family, I'm going to teach them, to the best of my ability, the importance of changing the rules a little bit if you want to win the game. And the game could be played differently for everyone, but just the constant grind of improving and providing value, to me, is where you have the most fun, and you're happiest when you're providing a service or providing value to others, because you can only do so much for yourself, and it's important to give back to others to feel happy. So where I'm coming from is, when it comes to winning the game long term, you're gonna have to do something differently. And I don't think traditional corporate world of saving for retirement is really the way to go. And I know a lot of people are gonna be upset with that, because that's all you know. And the shitty thing is, like, you think about the fact that you might have $1 million, $2 million in savings by the time you're 50 or 60, and you let it compound, you do that whole thing. Who knows what expenses are going to look like in the future? Who knows how expensive it's going to be to live? And I don't like the fact that I'm betting on the hope that it won't be that expensive in the future. You know, I think inflation will continue to go up, and it'll just get crazier over the years, and that's not a fun life to me. To then at one point retire, and then now you've put all this money into this thing that you're hoping will stay the same, and life is this. You're only able to live on a certain amount every single month. If you're pulling, 4% out of 2 million every year, that's not bad, right? Like, that's a decent living, but that's right now. That's not 40 years from now. So in other countries, 40,000, 80,000 a year is a significant living. That's the equivalent of like 300,000 in America a year. And that being said, I mean, I feel and believe that living in another country, while might not be extremely convenient for most, that's, to me and my family, that's what we're realizing is really the only way to live high quality living now. And you take that savings over time of what it costs to live in America versus in another country, and you scale that up over time, your lifestyle quality will only get better. Because if you're earning, call it $5,000 a month, and you spend $5,000 a month here, okay, let's different example. Let's say you earn $6,000 a month, you spend $5,000, you save $1,000 every single month in your account in America, right? Not everyone spends that much. Just bear with me. You take that exact same earning, $6,000 a month, you move to most of the recommended countries like South America, typically some European, typically Eastern European or Asian countries. You're going to take that 5,000 in expenses and lower it to maybe 2,500, right? So now you've put yourself in a position where you can save $3,500 in savings every single month versus 1,000. So at first you'll definitely feel the difference, but over time it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger, to where 2-3 years from now, that savings amount allows you to be more aggressive with investment plays or other things that you would not be able to do in America, where it would take you quite literally 2 or 3 or 4 times longer to save up for, like paying off a house or putting more into the stock market or whatever. So let's say you take that $3,500 in savings and you put it into this exact same stock market, right? So you're living in another country, you just live off of whatever it is that it costs to live in that country, and then you take the savings and put it into the stock market or index funds or a retirement plan, sure. Or you buy properties with it, or you buy a business, whatever. You use the money to earn more for you in the future. Instead of it taking you 40 years to save up 2 or 3 million, it might take you 20 years or 15, right? It's exponentially going to change the way that you can live your life in the future. At the same time, you're living a better quality of life now. So first, getting out of the country, I'm not saying is like a must, but at the very least, it's something that you should consider or look into, maybe for 3 months or 6 months, right? At the same time, another approach that you can take to live a little bit better financially is house hacking, where you rent out a unit to other people and, you know, have some kind of rental income coming in. Not everyone feels comfortable doing that, but again, if expenses are so high in America through housing, there's got to be something that can be different in that case. On top of that, if you're going to work a corporate job, don't expect to live a high quality life unless you're an executive, unless you work your way up and you save and save and save and save and save, or you have your expenses so low that you live with like 5 other roommates and you live on ramen and rice and beans every single month. Like, your lifestyle is gonna suck, truthfully, for a while, until you can live a good life in the corporate route. What I would always recommend is starting a business or some kind of ancillary income stream that can be built alongside your full-time job on the side. That could be rentals, that could be some kind of online coaching business, that could be something that you know or understand better than other people that you can monetize. Now, what that is for you, I have no idea, but what has been very clear is something like a vending business. It's very easy to start up. You don't have to be in front of a camera all the time. I don't necessarily love doing this, but it is nice to be able to share my opinions and my thoughts, and people like it, so I keep doing it, and that's helpful. But it's also nice to just let out my thoughts, and you know, thankfully people appreciate it. But whatever it is that you do to earn an income, you have to do it that and set up something that is in enough demand. You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna sell rocks online, or I can't just walk down the street and just give people rocks. I mean, yeah, sure, there's a business for it, but there needs to be enough demand and enough of a pain for people to want it. Like power washing businesses, house cleaning businesses, any type of service, like, yeah, construction business, but something that is always in demand. Of course, trades, plumbing, electricians, vending, of course, laundromats, car washes, real estate. Like, those are the types of businesses where no matter where you're at in life, I would definitely say within 100 years, those are all going to be businesses that are evolving, but are still in demand. You know, there's always going to be people that need a place to stay, need food, or have some kind of need or service that they need help with. I forget the name, paving, where it's like you resurface concrete, things like that. Those types of services, you don't really have to do a lot of marketing for. People are just naturally wanting it. You could put a ringy dingy little ad online and people will happily go to it. But anyway, tangents aside, what I'm getting at is, if you really wanted to live a higher quality life, I just don't know how it's possible in your traditional day-to-day job. There has to be something that you do or find energy towards on the side that you can start to build as well. So again, for me, is the vending business, which we are going to be selling, by the way, because we're going to be living a digital life. There's not even really a need to have this digital business, because with the income that I make through my job, I mean, why the hell would I even need anything as far as a business? We will still build one while we're in Russia, but that's not going to be something that's necessary. Like, we might buy a ton of properties out there. We might build a storage business. We might build some kind of service-based business, maybe a construction company. I have no idea, but the important thing is the ways in which we can take action and the ways you can be aggressive when you live in another country get exponentially higher, because you have more to work with, and you can be more aggressive because you know if it doesn't work out, it's also less expensive traditionally than it would be in America. So hopefully that makes sense. I hope I got some golden nuggets across, and like I said, it really does change the way in which you can take offense. Like, you can be aggressive in your plan whenever you live in another country because you now have more to work with every single month. Instead of $1,000, you can mess around with $3,500 or $4,000 or $5,000. It's a different way of thinking, and I'm not expecting everyone to understand my point, but I am hoping and praying that it at least impacts one person that watches this video, because I don't make these just for my personal entertainment. I love the feeling of being able to reach a lot of people in these types of videos, but I'm just happy that it will impact at least one person. At least I'm praying that it will impact one person. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully that made sense. Hopefully I got some points across. But if you did enjoy this, please like, comment, subscribe, hit some buttons. But I'm not, my goal with this channel is not to make it this ultra premium, polished, edited version. If anything, it might just be nice to put on a walk as you go around and do your daily activities, and maybe it resonates with you in some form or fashion. But thank you so much for watching. God bless.